Hello there! In today's video, I'm going to share with you two kinds of people or personality types that I think tend to do quite well here in Nicaragua. A lot of people who moved anywhere in Latin America or try and retire into any foreign country tend to come back and have a lot of issues with homesickness and this kind of thing. So I want to make it easier for you guys to figure out, is coming to Nicaragua right for the kind of person that you are? Because if you like certain things and you want to make your retirement and life about having access to those certain things, then maybe Nicaragua isn't a good option for you. So my goal is to make these things clearer for you. And remember, I offer consultation. You can learn more about that at the end of the video. But now let's start talking about the first kind of, let's say, personality. And this is anybody who has any interest at all in gardening, planting, or growing food. Because Nicaragua is like one of the most amazing places to grow food in general, just because you can grow year-round, the climate's really good, it's all volcanoes, so it's really easy to find cheap, really good volcanic soil. And if you're willing to, just use smaller pieces of land that aren't that useful to big agriculture, because big agriculture does have a big presence here, actually, believe it or not, then you can get land really cheap. So it's a phenomenal place. If you're worried about the direction the world's going in, and you're worried about your access to food, you don't trust that places are going to be able to keep providing you food for cheap rates and these things as the years progress, that's one of the things that is abundant in Nicaragua. There's tons and tons of food made in the country. So you don't have to worry here about what's going on in other countries to be able to get food, because there's so much food, like simple food really, that's grown here. And if you're interested in finding property that has trees, for example, fruit trees, nut trees, it's really easy, relatively easy here, to find property that has avocado trees and things like oranges and different kinds of lemon. These kind of trees are really common. So it's part of the culture already for the people who were able to get land and this kind of thing. They don't just think about oh, what's the house like? They think about can we have plants that are feeding us, because that's part of being alive. And it's more intact here. You can find a lot of properties that have this kind of thought in them if you just look a little bit. Whereas where I'm from, in the US at least, it's so mainstream now that everything's these huge corporations buying acres and acres of forest, clearing it all, and then building these big ass buildings, and it's all really expensive and stuff. So it's different here. That kind of thing still happens, but not in the same way. So if you are interested in this kind of thing, you like gardening at all, you like birds and nature, then Nicaragua is an amazing place for you. It really is. There's so much variety here. You can learn so much about plants, and you can find places here where people just love plants, and they make really beautiful gardens and all sorts of just amazing stuff. So now that I've cleared that up, let's talk about the second kind of person who tends to do quite well here in Nicaragua. And these are any people who like to keep to yourself. It doesn't really matter why, but if you're a person who can be happy being inside your own environment and your own house, you don't need to go out and party a bunch and drink and all this. You're able to just, whether it's play games or garden or do whatever it is you're interested in, write, read, whatever you do, use a computer, or if you like having someone, a partner, someone you're in love with, and not really much more than that, then Nicaragua can also be a really, really good place for that. Because if you're willing to just stay inside most of the time, whatever is happening politically and that kind of thing, it really doesn't matter. The reality is, for the most part, life for most Nicaraguans is incredibly peaceful. At least from my perspective, after living here, I've lived in Nicaragua for 5 years at this point, and I lived in the U.S. for a decade, and it was just more intense in the U.S. It was harder, and it's weird because people say that it's not like that. They say that Nicaragua is the place where it's harder, but it's like in the U.S. there's so many people making money off of you that yeah, you can get more money, but it's sort of an illusion because the things you have to do to get that money often sacrifice so much of your time and so much of your energy, and they end up deteriorating your quality of life. So I guess this is a third kind of person who would really do well here is really if what's important to you is your time, your free time. A lot of people don't realize that people in the third world, so to speak, there is something they have that you don't have. I swear, this guy comes over in every video I make here. He's a really cool bird. But not to go on a tangent about that. There are things these people, most people living in the third world, so to speak, or any country that's like Nicaragua or Nicaragua level conditions, they have something, an advantage over you. And I didn't know about this advantage until I lived here. I had no idea. Because the way the Western world paints things, it doesn't exist to you. You don't know what this advantage is because you're taught not to see it, right? And this advantage is free time. So most people in general in countries like Nicaragua have a huge amount of free time compared to people in working developed nations. This isn't always the case, but just in general here, I had no idea how true that was. I was used to the US, and it's kind of like people are pretty busy for the most part. It's really kind of unusual to find people who are just like they're really okay with just like sitting still and, you know, doing that kind of thing, and they're not trying to like rush to earn more money or go to college or beating themselves up about not going to college or, you know, all this kind of thing. It's like it's such a mess. And what I'm getting at is that here it's easier to have more control over the quality of your life because you don't need that much money, and there aren't as many people and corporations trying to make money off of you here. So like I can spend like $1,000 a month, right? And that'll get me the ability to provide for a lover, rent for a fully furnished 2-bedroom house with a garden, a yard, garage, all that kind of stuff, plenty of space in like the capital city in a nice neighborhood that's safer than other places I've lived here for sure. I'm not even in a gated community, but like I don't have issues because the front of the house doesn't really have like, it's not that obvious that it's big or anything. It's just like a little entrance. It's like kind of dirty and stuff, and there's a bunch of plants and you can't really see much. And like it's just like these kind of things, they help really. And if you care about your safety, it's not about having guards and all that kind of stuff, because that just makes it obvious you're hiding something with money. And it's all about like who you're around, and like there's a lot of people here who again just kind of, they have a great life living within the walls of their house, and that's where they spend most of their life. So if you're really uncomfortable with that, like you need to go elsewhere and go around and move around a lot. You might not be as comfortable here. Just, I'm being realistic with you. That I think the hardest thing for me personally in reality is just that it's harder to walk around. And I loved walking. In the US I could walk on paths and stuff all the time, and that was cool. That being said, I got mugged in the US, and that led to me like a huge problems in my life. I got kicked out of school because I got mugged and someone gave me a knife and I didn't think about it, had it in my pocket, got in trouble, and then I got kicked out of school. I was treated like shit. I was like, the police lied. I learned all sorts of stuff about how the world really works, right? And I just want you guys to understand, like, for me, yeah, this was life-changing. Living in Nicaragua was powerful, so powerful. There's not anything I've ever experienced that changed so much about my life in a good way. I'm not saying it just made everything easy, but it enabled, ever since I came here, I've been in a position where I can do something about what happens. Whereas when I lived in the US, I just felt like everything was stacked against me. The odds were so low. I had to earn so much and give up so much of my time. And it doesn't look like that's changing. It looks like it's just getting worse and worse and worse, you know? So it's just easier here. You know, it's a better life. So if you care about your free time and you want to be able to spend your time kind of doing things you care about and you're interested in, it's amazing. Like, even if it's just coming here so you can study, You know, you can go to some online school and just spend the whole time in Nicaragua, you know, only spending $700 or $800 a month and being at the beach and that kind of thing. That's a beautiful option. You can do that too. You can take advantage of being here and, you know, spend some money, put some money in some locals' pockets, even if you're not trying to move here and stay here forever. And I really encourage you to, if you're even interested at all in coming here and spending time, just visit, even if it's just for a week or two. You don't have to like figure out where you're going to move and just go there. You can visit, and you really should get a feel for the place. Walk around, find some places you like and dislike, and this kind of thing. All right, everybody, that's it for this video. Remember, I offer consultations. They are $20 per 30-minute session. We can talk about anything related to whatever you want, really. People tend to ask about Nicaragua, but people also call for help with macro recorder, that kind of thing. If you have any technical issue, you want me to train you how to video edit or do any kind of other thing. Sometimes fathers actually pay me to teach their kids how to do stuff on the computer, which has been really cool. I didn't expect that would happen, but that's actually happened on 2 occasions now. So that's been awesome. And if there's anything else, just feel free to reach out. Anybody can book a call. You don't really need to talk to me or anything. Just pay the fee and then I'll show up to the meeting. It's a Google Meet meeting, but we can do WhatsApp or Zoom or whatever you want, really. So I'll see you there. Thanks for watching, and comment below. Remember to subscribe if you want more of this stuff, but I don't like pushing subscribers, honestly. A lot of YouTubers get lost in these kind of things, and I do YouTube for my own well-being, so subscribers are more of like it's a reminder that there's other people out there and I don't feel as lonely. But past that, I'm not trying to grow a bunch of subscribers. I'm just trying to make some useful content, make some videos while I feel like making videos, and do what I love, all right? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.